Welcome to Spam Filter for Your Brain, bite-sized ponderings on how our thoughts influence our behaviour and our lives, and because we're all connected, how our thoughts impact the world. I'm here to help people reconnect with their bodies and declutter their brains. And I don't believe that we should just magically know how our emotions and our thoughts impact our lives if no one ever teaches us. So let's learn this stuff together. One of the most common objections I hear when I talk about my courses to people face-to-face and sometimes online too is the beautiful phrase, "I don't have time." Now, I know that so many of us live such packed lives with everything from trying to survive out there, the latter stages of capitalism, to family stuff, to quite a lot of us are carers, quite a lot of us have our own health issues, and we just have to hold so many different roles in so many different spaces that sometimes it can feel like just taking on any one more thing is going to be the thing that breaks, straw that breaks the camel's back. And what I invite people to get curious about when I am offered the opportunity to have a conversation with them about it, which I'm going to take this opportunity in your ears to pretend like you started this conversation and we're going to have it now, is that actually managing your mindset and looking after your emotional health and giving yourself tools to stop yourself spiraling and things feeling like they're all too much gives you more time. Because that feeling of everything being out of control or everything being too much or just being really close to the edge of burnout all the time, that's exhausting. And when you are operating from that place of exhaustion, everything takes a little bit more effort and you have to kind of get over this resistance of how tough everything is before you're even at the baseline. So when you have tools that enable you to stop feeling like everything is quite so intense, quite so set against you quite often, just quite so hard and difficult. When you have a strategy that you can look at the things that are going on in front of you with the perspective and sort of through the lens of not that everything that you're feeling or thinking is absolutely factual, but a toolkit that you can kind of extrapolate. Well, is this thought serving me? Is this something that I like? Is this something that is getting me closer to where I want to be? Does this thought align with my values? All of these kind of little questions that we can ask ourselves about the thoughts that bubble up in our brains and the emotions that we're having. If we have a lens through which we can filter that stuff, then we can look at some of the thoughts like, I don't have time, this is really difficult, I can't fit another thing in, I'm not going to make it, I'm going to drop the ball on something. All of these kind of thoughts which are going to cause you to be feeling quite stressed and probably quite anxious, and cause you to be in a situation where everything that you do takes more energy, takes more time, and therefore gives you less time. And when you're able to extract from that, not to look at these thoughts, whether they're good or bad, or to judge them, I shouldn't be thinking that, I really want to stop doing that. Just look at them and go, is that helping me? Is that serving me? And if it isn't, what we can do about it. What I'd like to offer you with this little bite-sized bit of brain work today is that actually maybe prioritising your emotional well-being gives you more time. It seems ironic to be adding something effectively that you need to do to be able to give yourself more space, but it is possible, and I know because I live it, and I think that probably everybody on self-care school would probably say the same thing. One of the main reasons why this really effectively works is when we are in this state of high stress, quite often we can fall back onto our stress response, which is fight, flight, freeze, and the often left out fawn from the picture. And when we're in this sort of stressed high stakes status, it's very hard to think about anything other than our survival. So when we have a toolkit that we can lean on to look at some of the emotional well-being things, some of the thoughts that we're having, and just reflect upon them, whether they are things that we want in our lives or not, we're able to just sort of step out of the fire in a way and observe more of take on more of an observer's viewpoint. And from that place, we can just have that one step removed ability to make some of the strategic decisions ahead of time. And if we are able to, for example, plan what we're going to do today, it means that I'm not making any big decisions about where I'm spending my time, what I'm doing with myself, how I'm going to tackle this particular task or problem from a state of, oh my God, I'm never going to fit this in. How am I going to do everything today? There's already that thing that I haven't done over there. This new information has come in. I haven't even looked at my email box. There's no space there for being able to think calmly, rationally, strategically, value aligned, just for your well-being. There's very little oxygen in all of that it's very mashed up thoughts together, and it's all very tight and heavy. And actually being able to just give yourself that slightly removed space of making decisions ahead of time is where we start to increase our capacity, increase our ability to be able to make decisions more rationally, more calmly, and more in alignment with how we want to be living our lives. And that in itself gives us more space. So there's 2 lessons effectively in this week's podcast, is hopefully for you to be able to consider some of the questions that you could ask yourself about your days, your thoughts, your emotions, just whether they're true, whether they're serving you. And if you want to learn how to do that, that's what we teach at Self-Care School. But if you don't want to come and join a course right now and that all feels too much, the other little gem that I would offer you is to really try and plan out your time ahead of time. So if you could take maybe a Monday morning or a Friday afternoon to plan your week ahead, and you stick to your diary like it's your boss, and you make those decisions ahead of time. And if you need to block in some buffer time, or you need to plan in some time for things to overrun, then that's all completely doable. We make up the rules. We're the grown-ups now. But making that decision from a place of calm and perspective of where you want to be stops you being in the middle of constantly having to put out fires. And that is what will give you extra time in your week. I hope this has been useful. And if you do want to learn some of this stuff, I'd love to see you over on one of the courses. I'll speak to you soon. If you're enjoying what you're hearing on the podcast here, I would love to invite you to Self-Care School. Self-Care School is a membership site where we have group coaching calls every week. We have a whole load of courses that you can dip into for whatever suits your needs. We have courses on confidence, body image, timekeeping, how to manage big emotions, overwhelm, loads and loads of stuff in there. You can kind of pick out whatever you want to work on. There is a big library of workbooks, which includes journal prompts and questions for you to be able to apply this work to your own life. And we have the most amazing community where people support each other. We learn from each other, and you get to work alongside people with quite often very different life situations to your own, and we learn so much together in community. If you would like some more of this, please do hop over to selfcareschool.co.uk.